Say what?
That seemed longer than usual.
No, you're just impatient. You're on Canada time now. You see, all the time
that's
is
what did it.
now. You're on the Celsius scale, so that's making time feel weird. What's up, Mr. Rosenberg?
Not much. Thank you all for coming to an earlier version of the show.
Early.
3 o'clock on the west, 6 o'clock on the east, and 4 and 5 in the middle. But yeah, we had dinner tonight.
But you know what? It's the week of Christmas. Nobody's paying attention at work anymore. What you're doing, you can just clock out for a moment and join us for episode 133 of the EriDan Film.
I'm so in shock. We've done over 2 years worth.
It's wild. We're wild here as we talk movies, holiday movies. We're going to choose 2 more, and then we won't do more holiday movies until next year, unless somebody wants to choose a Hanukkah movie in the middle of July. I guess that's fine. But for the most part, this will be the end of the holiday marathon, whatever it is. And so but this is a chance. So if you haven't gotten to choose a holiday movie, this is where
now's your chance.
This is where you want to be. I think so. This is your chance. And tonight we're stacked, blacked, and loaded, and bloated.
Blacked? Okay, go ahead. Are you gonna pull up what we're playing?
No.
I thought that's what we did.
No, I don't usually bring those in until we have people in.
Oh,
first time here. You're in Canada, and everything is weird.
All right. Well, let's bring some. Speaking of weird.
Polite.
Oh, sorry.
And there is.
I have to say, last night we had a waiter, and he was talking about his daughter who's 7, and he's like, one day she's all worried about her hair and how it gets done. The next day she's wearing a toque and she's covering her head. And Becky just kind of, a toque? I'm like, yeah.
Did you order any back bacon?
Oh, sure. We had the writers here, but I don't know what happened to the writers.
They were so offended by by my comment about being loaded. I have no idea.
Hopefully they'll be back, but in the meantime,
one ring to rule the moon. One ring to
one.
It's
Brittany.
Hello.
And Mina.
Yep. Aww. Just till Dad gets home.
And Adam is here.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Adam.
Yes.
Nothing is quite as reliable as Adam.
Well, now we can really start then. Brian, who chose one of the movies, is not here yet.
He said he was having technical difficulties, so hopefully he'll be in.
Well, I think the writers are having technical difficulties.
And I think the writers did too, yeah.
All of a sudden, they disappeared.
Everything's falling apart. Look what's happening. Dan, you moved the time.
She just said my name. Did you hear it? She just said Dan.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm Dan. Thank you.
Dan.
The writers are still having difficulties.
They're having difficulties. With their marriage or with their computers? I don't know. We'll have to wait.
Wow. They seem very happily married.
All right. So since Dave is here, I guess we'll start with Dave's movie. I know, right? Because otherwise,
That's true. You kind of have to wait for Brian. So yeah.
So I think we start with Dave's movie. So all the way back to 1947 again for The Bishop's Wife. Cary Grant, Loretta Young, David Niven, and a couple of other people. Directed by Robert and Leonardo. No, that written by Robert and Leonardo. Who knows what the budget on this thing is? It was 1947. They paid for things in bread. Who knows?
They $16 million. Bartered a few stones for it. Yeah,
exactly right. Critics at an 85%, audience at 81%. Dave, pitch us your movie.
Oh well, it's the kind of movie for a Christmas movie. Let me preface it with that I like best because it has some spiritual or religious overtones to it without whacking you completely over the head with it. Like it's the Bible story, and yet it has engaging, interesting characters. I think the casting is you got David Niven, who who Ian Fleming had in mind when he wrote James Bond. He was just too old by the time the movies were being made to play the part. You have Loretta Young. You have Monty Woolley, who I always love as the professor, and Elsa Lanchester, who is just one of the most versatile character actors ever to grace the screen, going from Bride of Frankenstein to Mary Poppins is the range of her work. So,
and speaking of the Bride of Frankenstein and Mary Poppins, is that wrong?
Wow.
It was right there. I didn't know what else to do. We'll let you guys decide who is Mary Poppins.
I was gonna say, which one's the bread?
That's what we were just discussing.
well, Wade's got the gray. You know, like the.
So do I.
I will say,
I
I
washed
you
that
decided
gray
better.
right out of my hair. Oh, different.
I will say, I feel like Cary Grant in almost every one of his movies is just like, man, am I good looking? Like he
Yeah.
carries himself with such confidence.
The way the women looked at him in this was hysterical.
Oh man. Like, man, I'm Cary Grant. Look at me. Man, look at me. Can you guys believe how good looking I am? I'm so
The
good.
funny thing is, even though the title of the movie is The Bishop's Wife, I thought she was the third or fourth most important character, because really it's David Niven and Cary Grant that is the. I mean, she's the fulcrum between them, but they are the dynamic that really drives the movie.
Yeah.
And then you have Monty Woolley as the professor, as sort of the I don't know, the anchor in some ways, more to the normal person. I call him a normal person. He's a retired professor or something, but still, he's not impressed in some ways with all of this. But then even he comes to sort of come around at the end.
Right.
And,
wow. The magic. If you give me a refilling Diet Dr. Pepper bottle, I'd be interested too.
That doesn't inebriate.
Adam says, "Why, Dave? Why? Watching this movie was torture."
Torture.
You're in the 19%. I'm in the 81%. I don't have to
So,
apologize.
and the scores we wrote down ahead of time, what we think Adam's going to give.
Yeah, I we'll see. But
We shall
it's
see.
one of my all-time favorites. I like it better than White Christmas. I realize White Christmas is more on most people's list of, I have to watch this every year, and I like White Christmas. But this hits a different spot for me. It has some of the characteristics of It's a Wonderful Life without being so serious.
Yeah.
It's a Wonderful Life can really be heavy to watch.
Yeah.
And it's
Why would you say that, Dave?
and I love It's a Wonderful Life, but I'm not always in the mood to watch It's a Wonderful Life. I have to be in the right frame. I can watch this anytime.
Yeah.
So sometimes
but
it's
even-
not that wonderful of a life, is what you're saying.
Exactly. So it's just one of my all-time favorite holiday movies.
What I liked about this movie was that it did not feel predictable. Like it really, because this was my first time ever watching it, and it did not like I honestly did not know where it was going. Right, like I had an idea how it might finally end, but but there were some not wild twists and turns,
Right.
but there was just kind of like a they're going
You knew the angel wasn't going to steal his wife, but still, you weren't sure how it was going to play out.
exactly right. You know what I mean? It's like and for a while there, it's like, well, is he really starting to get feelings for her, or is this a ploy to make David Niven's character jealous? Right? Is this just part of the plan? Or is he seriously really getting involved here? And I thought that it was just. Yeah, I was surprised how much I like this movie.
To me, the common thread with It's a Wonderful Life is just the notion of you're better off than you realize you are.
Oh yeah,
that your life is if you don't neglect your life, there's a lot there to love, and there's a lot there to take joy in, and there's a lot there to appreciate. And too many of us, and we all fall into the trap sometimes, take the people we love around us for granted.
True.
And to have something snap you out of that is just enjoyable to watch for me.
Yeah.
Plus, if you tie it into the other movie, if you count your blessings, not your sheep, you'll get a much better night of sleep.
Exactly.
There you go.
But see, at least Adam, this one wasn't a musical.
There is that. You do end up feeling sorry for Cary Grant's character, though, at the end, right? He's actually getting a little tired of the whole angel business, right? You can tell he's a little tired of.
I'm sure they'll give him a month sabbatical and he'll be fine.
But this movie has some really nice quotes to it too. I thought there
Oh,
was
it does.
very nice, memorable lines. Some thinkers, I like the only people who grow old were born old to begin with. I enjoyed that line. I thought that was a clever line.
One expects him to be normal. He's a bishop.
That's right, exactly. I thought it was very interesting that it ends with let us ask ourselves what he would wish for most, and then let each put in his share: loving kindness, warm hearts, and a stretched out hand of tolerance. I thought, wow, timeless. That is so good.
And it's also, because it's only 2 years after the end of World War II. It's still the mid 40s, and It's a Wonderful Life was a notorious bomb, for example, when it came out, because then the speculation I've heard is that people weren't ready for that kind of movie after the war. They wanted happy, frolicking romps. They didn't want serious movies that were just they'd had enough heavy for too many years.
Yeah.
And it became a hit only, like the 60s or so, when it started being showing on television and then later on video. So 47, you're still kind of in that time frame, which is why I think this one being a little more light touch than It's a Wonderful Life works for me.
Well, we got hot girl picks for you. So.
Yeah.
We're getting some little spam
YouTube
comments,
spam.
but also, or you pull that down. You're going to pull that back up?
Go ahead. All right, here we go.
There you go. Okay, there we go. Amanda says she enjoyed the movie, was worried to watch Lance Dudley went to woo her. The hat thing was kind of, but I mean, it was interesting that you got to see more and more of Dudley's powers throughout, right? I thought that was kind of interesting how they kind of amped that up throughout.
1947 CGI.
Yeah, the tree the tree doesn't hold up.
Hey, Cody.
But I did really enjoy the sherry with the constantly refilling glasses and bottles, because that looked perfectly well. They handled that very well.
Yeah. They handled that really well.
Yep.
Adam says, we knew this wasn't my type of movie, but it could have been a little less mundane and boring. I literally kept checking the timestamp to see how much longer the movie was.
See, I did that during A Knight's Tale. I can't tell you how many times I checked the timestamp when I was watching A Knight's Tale.
That's funny.
What's funny is I thought that said tramp stamp when I first read it. I was like, wait, what?
Oh, wow.
Checking the tramp stamp.
Oh, my Lord.
This is not the first time I watched this, but I fell asleep this time. We started it way too late, and I was out. And I don't normally do that, but I had seen it before, and I woke up saying, "This movie's so creepy."
Creepy.
My mom loves this movie, and I don't know why. I haven't talked to her about why she does. And I love Cary Grant, but this movie, I just didn't like the way his character was acting toward the bishop's wife. It creeped me out. I didn't understand it. So, I don't know.
Well, I have to make an announcement that I don't think I've ever made.
Oh, boy.
I will not be scoring this movie. I was not able to watch it. I will score it next week. I will watch it between now and next week, and I will give a score.
I also didn't get to watch it, so I will also be watching it.
Oh boy, Adam's gonna have a big impact on this one.
I was gonna say.
However, my wife and I both watched White Christmas last night here at the hotel.
I finished it approximately 2 minutes before the show started.
Google Chromecast. The TV is equipped with Chromecast. Quite amazing. You can just stream right from your phone.
Yeah, Android TV is great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Learn tech.
Nifty.
So I have nothing to say about this movie.
Okay.
Although it does sound like it's a good, I think I would enjoy it.
Listening to Dave and Eric talk about it, though, I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch it one more time.
Have a cup of coffee.
I have watched it. I love Cary Grant. And Eric's right. He does know he is good looking.
Yeah, and I love David Niven too, because he plays
in this role. That works so well for him in this role, because if you had been doing this for centuries, you would have that air of confidence about you.
True, that's true.
But can't he make himself? Can he make himself the best looking human if he wanted to?
He's already Cary Grant.
He is.
Probably.
Well, I'm saying, but I mean, maybe he looked more like me or Eric, and then suddenly he said, "I'm an angel. I can do whatever I want."
Maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Or he could just make people think he looks that good. And not
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure it was just an aura
And
around
one
him.
of the things I think they got wrong with the Preacher's Wife, the remake with Whitney Houston, on the poster, they have a halo over Denzel Washington's head, which you don't realize right away when you start the movie what direction it's going. And they were just like, put it right on the poster. We don't want you to have to make you
in
think.
a trailer, and obviously they played that trailer to death when that movie came out too. You weren't going into that without knowing what was going on.
Yeah.
Right? They weren't going to let that happen.
Is there any similarity to this?
I do
And
want to watch that now.
is there any similarity to this in City of Angels with Nick Cage?
Not really. City of Angels is a lot more depressing.
Yeah. No.
The
Well,
thing
I
I
like
liked,
City of Angels, but it's a
Good
rough
music
watch.
came out of that, though.
the
What's that?
thing I liked about this one, I like the skating, because I think that was frickin' Frack. Wasn't that, Dave? Do you know if that was frickin' Frack who were skating?
I don't know. I was impressed. The Sylvester stunt skating that was going on was very fun to watch. Though I did say, as we were watching the skating scene, I turned to Margaret and said, I can only imagine what Adam is reacting to when he watched this. Is like, will this ever end?
That green screen effect, man. They went all out.
Which was pretty cool for the day. I thought that was
absolutely. I mean,
you also had crossover with other Christmas movies, because you had Sylvester in this is in the actor is also in It's a Wonderful Life, and the I remember there's somebody, I can't remember which character it was. It's one of the minor roles, plays the drunk Santa in Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh, I know his voice. Yes, I know who that is. Okay.
Yeah.
Sonia Henning, Dick Button, and Peggy. No, never mind. Sorry. On the wrong thing.
Well, I think there's only like 4 of us that are going to rate this thing. So let's find out at least what we think.
EriDan.
Let's see, and if you were paying attention.
Oh, a second here. Let me look at something here.
So, side note before we score, Cody, first of happy birthday, Cody. His birthday was
Oh my goodness.
between shows, it was a couple days ago.
Whoa.
He is watching from his deathbed, LOL.
Oh no.
He will have a lot of time to watch, and COVID is kicking his peach.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah, I had lunch with an ex-coworker that I haven't had lunch with since pre-pandemic, and today, and he just this past July, his dad was vaccinated, but he was 80 and his dad passed away of COVID in July. So even if you're vaccinated, if you're in a risk group, it's still nasty.
Yeah. Be careful out there, kids.
Yeah.
I got so lucky when I had it.
Yeah.
You're
You're young enough. Sometimes I know you don't feel young, Dan, but you're young enough.
Oh.
Well, so we're gonna give everybody till midnight Sunday night to watch these movies if you've missed them, and put your scores into the chat.
It is a busy season. A lot of people are very full schedules. Yeah.
So you have till Sunday night to rate these 2, and then we'll have 2 new movies to rate on Monday night. So
let's make them short.
If you want to play catch up, we will we'll leave these scores off the board until we get to Sunday night.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's start with the man who picked the movie.
Yeah. Like I said, it's one of my favorite holiday movies. You know, where A Christmas Story to me is all about family. You know, when you watch A Christmas Story, and I know some people love it and some people can't stand it, but to me, it's an old-fashioned Christmas. It's spending Christmas with family. It's, you know, as a kid waiting, like it seems like forever to open the gifts and just sitting there watching them under the tree. And it just feels like time slows to a crawl. This movie hits a different part of Christmas movies for me. This hits the sort of appreciating what you have kind of a feel that sometimes I need more of. So it's not quite as high as A Christmas Story, but it's still one of my all-time favorites. So it's a 95 for me.
Nice.
All right. We'll have to go to the writers.
Hey. Let me go first, huh? So, I've seen it a few times, and I've always liked it in the way it comes out. I forgot about the taxi driver. He was pretty funny in this. How he was waiting there the next day for something and everything.
And he thought they were getting married.
Yeah, you forget the preacher. And speaking of preacher, then his Christmas Eve service that Dudley wrote was pretty good, and I actually have to preach next week on New Year's Day, so I think I might include that at the end.
There you go.
So yeah, I'm gonna say it's probably one of those better black and white Christmas movies. So I'll give it a 95 also.
Ooh.
Oh.
It has some great elements that I love. The comedy, the skating scene, which was really too long for Adam. I know it was. I felt bad for Adam. I feel bad for Adam a lot lately. And I love old movies though. So, but I just, that creepy factor, I am going to have to watch it again, but it's a good Christmas movie. Here's the thing. One of the other things I did not understand. They had servants and a nanny for their child. She said, I'm going to take care of my daughter today. What?
Yeah.
That's how it used to be.
Oh my
With
gosh.
a very well-off congregation and lots of wealthy donors. And
Be a pretty high position.
I guess, but
you saw the mansion that the rich lady lived in.
Right. Yeah. And she's familiar too. I can't think of what she's in. But anyway, so I think I'm not going to score it as high as you guys did, but it is, I love black and white old Christmas movies. So it's going to be pretty high. Sort of. It's like, I'm going to an 87.
87. All right.
Speaking of 87.
Oh, we're going to do that. Hold on.
Well, I might as well get somebody in real quick.
Well, I think you're right.
Oh, it's back to Dave.
It is.
He was born in 86.
Right.
So close.
Yeah,
Did you see this movie?
I did. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Am I grading
We're
it
scoring.
right now?
Yeah, we're scoring.
You're
it.
just
Okay.
Bishop's Wife.
I liked it. It was good. I did think it was a little slow for me when I watched it. And I think so my thing I had to say was the angel thing. I think that they should have revealed that later. I don't know if anybody had said that.
No.
No, I think they should have revealed that like towards the end. I don't know. I think it would have been like cool to see all the stuff happening without knowing he was an angel and maybe suspecting that he was.
Yeah.
And then they reveal it at the end and you're like, oh, okay. So he wasn't really trying to steal the wife, but then he actually was. And I'm like, wait, is he going to turn into a demon now?
Right? Thank you, Brian. I didn't want to say that.
Was it an M. Night Shyamalan
what's
movie?
going on? He's trying to steal the woman and stuff, and but I like the story. It did go a little slow for me, so but like that's not bad necessarily, depending on your mood. I think I'm gonna go with 84. I think for me.
Nice.
All right, in the comments, Amanda says a pleasant movie, agrees with Eric about not being too predictable. Alternate between feeling bad for the bishop and being annoyed at him jumping right to jealousy/anger. She's an 85. My mother had texted me that she had seen this movie probably when she was 7 or 8 years old. And has not yet finished it, but at the moment she's giving it an 80.
Nice.
Okay.
So she has the ability, once she finishes, if she wants to change her score.
You can revise it. Yep.
There's been a few people
Absolutely.
that haven't
She
seen
knows
it,
somebody.
So, yeah. Up to you, Eric.
That would be me. Did you give your score yet?
I didn't see it.
You didn't watch it.
Well, that's right. You didn't even see it. Okay. I really like this movie. I was really pretty low expectations. Honestly, I knew nothing going into it about what was about to happen. So it really did all unfold very naturally for me. I found it really pleasant. And it is absolutely something I will watch again. And I think one of the signs for a movie that I really did engage with is a movie that I ponder about afterwards. And I have found myself thinking through various scenes of this movie after having watched it. Because it really is a well-written, well-performed movie. I really liked it a lot. I gave it a 91.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, I really liked it.
Well, let's see. Adam's score is up.
Uh-oh.
This was more painful of all the 2 movies you get through. Won't bash it, but definitely not enjoyable at all. A 10.
What I tell you?
Stacy said a 9.
Yep.
Eric said a 15.
I said a 15. I would have thought. But
Yeah, and I would have had him the other way around because I thought the musical aspect would have
Right.
pulled White Christmas.
you don't know what's coming next.
You don't know what his score for
he
White
said
Christmas is.
he said it was the more painful of the 2 to get through.
Oh, good point. Good point.
Very good point. Well,
Okay.
let's move on to Brian's movie and talk about White Christmas. 1954, Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, Rosemary Clooney, Vera Ellen, Dean Jagger, Mary Wicks, and written by Norman, and Melvin. I don't know.
Oh, yes. Norman.
Budget of $2 million, worldwide gross of $30 million, critics at a 77, audience at an 88. Brian,
Yeah.
tell us about White Christmas. Choose White Christmas.
I found that this movie a while ago. I didn't watch it like since I was young or anything like that. I don't know how many years ago it was. I watched it and I really liked. I like the jazz, Bing Crosby kind of stuff. So I liked it, and I was like, yeah. Well, somebody said they hadn't watched it, so I had to suggest it.
Yeah, I had never seen it before.
Wow. Wow.
I had
Yeah,
never
me
seen
neither.
it
I thought I
before.
had. Never had.
Never seen it before.
Wow.
No, I would have remembered seeing Bing Crosby in his underwear. I definitely would have remembered that.
You saw a little more than that too. You can see his thigh pretty high, and then he went.
I know.
I was like,
I was like, oh, Stacy's not gonna like this.
scandalous.
I think there's like a lot of really neat parts in it that they kind of make me laugh and stuff, and I just like it. So the music too.
There's an amazing amount of songs in here that I did not realize were from White Christmas.
Yeah, I think I don't know the poster it had didn't say, but I think Irving Berlin did some of the songs, or
He wrote all of them. Yeah.
all of them. Yeah. Okay, so there you go.
This is all
The
Irving
name of it
Berlin.
is Irving Berlin's White Christmas. So
Right. That's it wasn't on the poster, so I was like, what? But yeah.
well, he did White Christmas was one of the songs in Holiday Inn, and that was such a big hit that years later they decided to make another movie. It's not a remake, it's not a sequel, but it's a very similar feel.
Yes.
Well, I got to watch the other one then. That would be cool.
Yep.
Holiday Inn.
I liked
Pretty good.
it. I liked it better.
What I kept thinking the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, is this colorized? But no, it was shot in color. It looked colorized because
It's
Bing's
very
eyes at certain
saturated,
points,
yeah.
like the blue looked like it was
eyes.
on his.
They definitely remastered it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the scene at the very end when they're all in red is like it had to have been shot differently because the color is weird.
Yeah.
Does anybody else, speaking of eyes, anybody else notice how often Vera Ellen seems to look right at the camera while
Yes.
dancing? Like
She
there's
has
a
a
lot,
lot of cam-
more than anybody else. She is right at the camera so much. And
A little wink here, yeah.
is she
Well-
thin? Oh my god!
Keep in
Those
mind,
legs. She is really
she is
short.
primarily a dancer. So
Right,
Really short,
she's
and you
engaging
can
with the
see-
audience. As an actor, you don't look straight at the audience that much,
Yeah.
but as a dancer, it's a different situation.
Yeah, and I did think that. That's sort of what I thought. That I'm like, okay, she must obviously be a stage
sense.
performer where you would want that looking towards the audience.
Right. She can tell she's really short because Bing Crosby wasn't very tall, and those legs.
Oh, yeah.
She's all leg.
How long she
She's
is
all leg.
amazing.
Well, I didn't realize, and I guess I should have known this, but Bing Crosby's from Tacoma, Washington.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
He's
how
a
about
Seattle
that?
area boy.
And he was also
The
twice the age of Rosemary Clooney when they made this movie, which is kind of creepy.
25, she was 26. He was 51.
Ew.
Yep.
And the funny thing is, he doesn't really look 51. She doesn't really look 26.
No, that is true.
They
You
look
know?
about
No.
40.
Well, was she supposed to be the younger sister or the?
Yeah,
the
She was the
one?
older sister.
Older
was the
one.
older
But
sister.
she's
Other
but
hen.
she's younger than the.
she was
She's
actually
significantly
older
younger than Vera Ellen. Yeah.
Yeah,
Vera
yeah.
33.
That's funny.
So Reagan
Yeah,
said
I remember
about
watching this- go
Rosemary
ahead.
Clooney. She watched with us, and I said, "This is George Clooney's aunt." She's, "Oh, really? She looks like him." And then she said, "Actually, she looks like Jamie Lee Curtis's dad in Some Like It Hot,
Tony Curtis a little bit. Yeah.
dressed up."
I thought she looked a little like she was in drag a little bit.
See, she is all leg.
Yep, that's hilarious. I loved watching their faces. And I
My
loved
mom
Danny.
said something. My mom said something that I thought also it was weird because I was thinking as I'm watching it, and then my mom texted me the exact same thing. Michael Richards Kramer is a very similar character to Danny
Yeah.
to Danny
Danny
Kaye.
Yeah.
Danny Tom. So Danny Kaye, I mean, big hair, kind of
Mhm.
lanky and goofy and
I
physical.
loved him.
Well, Danny Kaye was notorious for. He was loved by some people he worked with, and some of them couldn't stand him. Producers and directors found him very difficult to work with because he would never stick to the script. When he was on 2x2 on Broadway, he would have fights with the directors all the time because he refused to stick to the script.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And then he would just go, remember the arm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
And a little,
Yeah,
Kramer,
here's
a little Kramer happening right there.
yeah.
Mhm.
And there's the general who's younger than Bing Crosby.
Yeah.
oh, I know.
Yeah.
That fake gray
I was
hair
like, yeah, his hair.
And
was
it's
so,
horrible
like,
hairpiece.
Yeah.
was terrible. I love
Yeah.
Danny's yellow socks, and I love Mary Wicks. I love.
Oh, I
her.
love Mary Wicks, even though she's the villain in this piece.
I heard her. I said, "Is that Mary?" I
Yeah.
was in the kitchen. I was so excited. I love her.
Now, to me, and I mentioned this to my sister earlier this week, this does not feel like a Christmas movie to me, right? This feels like two Christmas Eves separated by 10 years,
Yep.
right? And really, you get two Christmas Eves. A lot of the music is not Christmas oriented because their show was not a Christmas show.
Right.
So a lot of the dance numbers you see are very just average, not average dance numbers. They're obviously great dance numbers, but they're, and I'm not taking points off because of this, because it's still, the movie stands on its own for whatever it is. But to me, like,
And it's called White Christmas.
well, and
It's in the title.
so if it was a Die Hard Christmas, then we wouldn't have the argument.
Exactly.
Even if nothing about the
If he
movie.
is Christmas. Yeah.
If it was a Die Hard Christmas, we'd all be like, "Oh, it's a Christmas movie now." But yeah, because to me, it's like it just didn't feel Christmassy. I mean, what they were doing was very noble and awesome, except the whole thing. Like it's like, oh, I overheard on the phone call. It's like this is like an episode of Three's Company.
That's exactly what I said.
Why? It's like the whole
Yeah.
plot point. The big drama plot point is from Three's Company.
And the SNL skit about snow, and then now that makes sense too.
And then when you watch the movie, you can't help but crack up when they're singing "Snow."
Yeah.
I want to wash my hair, my face, and ass with snow.
And I said to Becky, I said, I would love to take a train trip like that.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
And I guess they just don't exist. I mean, like there's
that
some
type of
Amtrak we can
it's a
get.
different era.
There's some sleeper cars still, but there's just,
Yeah.
it's not the same.
No, that's.
I mean,
Bunk.
I don't know. Yeah, like I don't know if we have them in like America or United States or whatever, but they might have stuff like that in Europe still. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They might.
Here you go, the Orient Express.
In Germany, like in the war scenes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
That was one thing.
What kind of trains you talking about, Dave?
That was one thing was
Jeez.
very unrealistic about this was, and I don't want to hold this movie to be a realistic movie. It's not intended to be, so I don't really hold that against it. But it was a little jarring for me. These platoons of soldiers singing because we love him. We love him. It's like,
Agree. That was terrible. That was
I love
gag.
And
it.
I did like the fact that the backdrop that they used 10 years before was pretty much the same backdrop that they
Right.
ended up with.
None of their scenes looked at all like they were actually filmed on location. They were so obviously sound stages.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love that backdrop there behind him. That's cool.
Yeah, it's similar to the
Very
one
career knives. Yeah.
when they open
Yeah.
up the back.
There.
Mhm.
Oh wait, it's got to be at the very end.
It's the very end
There we go.
Oh, she looks so pretty.
No.
when they open
It
up the
wasn't a
thing.
backdrop. It just
that
actually
old
opened
tree.
there instead.
And he'll never know what
I
he
mean,
did
see, look
to
at
make her
that.
mad at him. She's never
It's
going
the
to tell
same
him.
one.
It's the same background. And also, I noticed 10 years later when they were in wherever to Vermont, was it Vermont? No, where were they at? Where they saw the girls? They're down in Florida. They saw the girls for the first time. They had to sneak out because there was a red bass drum. It was the same red bass drum that was in the war with them.
Oh, I meant to mention this about the last movie about the bishop's wife. Is the little girl Debbie is now 82 years old.
That's what I was saying. Was in this movie, almost everybody's dead.
Yes, that is true.
It's interesting because
even the little kids.
When we picked up the Blu-ray and I was looking, saying, I wonder if there's any commentary on this. And yes, there's one commentary from Rosemary Clooney because she was the youngest one in the cast, not counting the kids.
Yeah.
So she was the only one still alive when they did the videos of this because the rest had all passed away.
And what's sad is I knew Rosemary Clooney from Extra Value is what you get when you buy Coronet.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's right.
And I remember reading about that in Reader's Digest years ago. She had a complete career resurgence because, you know, they publish those lists every year, like the most trusted brand of pain reliever. And they always publish. She came out, it must have been about the 80s or 70s or 80s. She for some reason, somebody did a survey and she was one of the most trusted names. People, because they associated her probably with like this movie or something. And so she then, having retired for years, she came back and started performing again. And she had a bit of a career. You see her on variety shows. She did another album or two. Yeah. And she just started doing ads. Yeah. And that's why.
That's awesome.
Funny orbits look like her.
And her brother was a news anchor. So he was a very trusted person. He was a news anchor. That's what George Clooney's dad did.
Yeah,
I remember when people did respect news anchors. Is that
yes, exactly?
Another thing that's changed since 1960.
That's when news was news and not opinion.
He was on Clooney and Friends. Yeah, it was.
Hey Eric, the little girl was she in It's a Wonderful Life too? Because, or am I in The Bishop's Wife? Because you mentioned her. Was she in It's a Wonderful Life also? Because
she seemed like one of the kids.
She looked like Suzu. And the boy who played George Bailey as a youngster was in the snowball fight.
Yes, he was. I spotted that immediately. That's young George Bailey.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Here. Anne Whitfield.
Grimes. Caroline Grimes. She was Zuzu. Good eye. How about that? Yeah, she was.
It was with Gleason being Sylvester. It clearly was the same studio because they had a lot of the same repertory. Company. Yeah.
And she later played Princess Leia. No, I'm kidding.
It looked a lot like the guy in and Some Like It Hot. What was?
Yeah.
My internet is getting choppy.
All
right. Stop it. Anne Whitfield, who was the granddaughter, she's still alive.
Well, they in White Christmas.
The general's granddaughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
General's granddaughter. She is 84 years old.
Is that all? Wow.
She could hang out with Debbie from.
She was born in 1938.
She can hang out with Caroline Grimes from Bishop's Wife.
Yeah.
And she's August 27th birthday, so she's a day before me.
So if you introduced yourself to her, you could tell her how your birthday was. Right.
Your birthday is 90 years and
We have a connection, you and I.
I think we really have to reshoot that scene with her still.
Are we doing this? Are we putting numbers to this?
Let's put some numbers.
Let's put up some numbers. All right, Brian.
All right. I actually hadn't decided what my number is going to be. That's pretty dumb. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm going to say 89. I really like it, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to give it.
You don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like love it. I
He would
really
take
like
it out for a second date, but he's not necessarily ready to commit.
Yeah.
more or less. Yeah.
He doesn't
All right.
love it.
No,
No. Brian's got to give the first score. Come on.
He did. He gave the first score.
Oh, I missed it. What'd you give it?
Oh, I said 89. I said
Okay.
89. Yep.
89.
89.
89.
All right. And Amanda is giving it a 96.
Wow.
Good.
The misunderstanding feels forced.
Mhm.
I agree with that. That's
Yeah.
fair.
It's a very
Yeah,
sitcom misunderstanding.
It's
it was-
very Three's Company.
It was very like instead of talking about it and hashing it out, she just had this little temper tantrum and hopped on a plane and left the state. Like,
Yeah, like I said, I bet she never
like
tells
a
him
Like
what
that's
to
never
do.
happened before.
I mean, I'm sure it has.
That happens all the time.
That's fair.
I'm sure there are people that are no longer on this show that used to be because of misunderstandings that somebody said to somebody else. I won't name names. So, what's your
I
score?
have never seen this movie before. I've seen neither of the movies before, and I knew like I was only going to get to one. This one was just on Netflix. It was easier to get to. I got the Netflix button. I didn't have to play around with anything. And I started it, and I was like, "Ugh, do I have to do this? Like, I mean, I literally just watched it before, like here, and I had to pause it a couple times, like because my kid was being crazy or whatever. But I kept going back and playing it again, even though I kept telling myself I'm not going to finish it. Like this is silly, like whatever. But then I ended up finishing it, and I really, actually, like surprisingly liked it more than I thought that I would. It did feel a little bit slow. I definitely agree with Amanda. Like some of the songs felt unnecessary. The singing and dancing was good, but I felt like they showed like full numbers in like dress rehearsal that had nothing to do with the plot of the movie that took up more time than needed. Like it was cool because like it was engaging, but it didn't really need to be there. But I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, so I'm gonna say an 88.
Wow.
All right. Let's go to the writer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always.
You gonna go first this time?
I'll go first this time. Okay, I'm not a big fan of Bing Crosby, and I'm not a big fan of these old men pretending they're 25. I love Danny Kaye. He's adorable. So that evened out.
You were
Love
creeped
Mary
out by
Wick.
both movies.
Oh man. Love Mary Wicks, the gray-haired general. I just really wanted him to wash that paint right out of his hair.
Yeah, it was so obviously that his hair was like dusted. It was
It wasn't even dusted, Dave. That was paint, like slag. Yeah. So yeah, but I love the scenes during the war because it's so obviously a soundstage. It's hilarious. And I like that because that's what's happening. And Eric showed a scene of Vera Ellen in a yellow outfit dancing with I can't think of his last name. It's Brisky or something.
Yeah.
The dancer. That you see them earlier rehearsing, like he lifts her above his head, and you can see that from above. They're looking down on it, and they show that them rehearsing that lift, and then they show the dance number later. And I thought that was kind of cool to see them rehearsing and then see them actually do it. And so there are things I love about it, things I don't love about it. It just seems very long. It doesn't seem Christmassy. I'm like, why isn't there snow? Oh yeah, it's been 68 here. It's so weird. It's Thanksgiving and I'm like, oh, okay.
But they got their white Christmas.
Yeah. And because of global warming. Anyway, so it's not one of my favorites. I don't have to watch it because I don't like Bang. But it's one of those that sometimes you got to watch it. You don't have to watch it every year. I don't have to watch it every year. So I'm going to give it an 85.
Oh,
Right.
all right. Wait.
That's the number I was going to give it to. So we'll just jump to that.
save time.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
That's it,
That's all he has to say.
Dave.
I really do like this movie. I don't love it as much as some of my family members do, but I really enjoy it, and I'm happy to watch it every year. It has some interesting things that bug me, but probably shouldn't. Like, why are they running from the police? They didn't do any crime.
Right.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
makes no sense why Phil and Paul, they didn't do anything. Oh, what? Because they came out in place of the sisters and did their song for them? What crime did they commit? It's just I don't understand that, but that's just silliness. It's a light comedy. It's nothing to be dissected. It is interesting because this was 1954, so this is 7 years after the prior movie. And you get the idea that it's now been 9 years since the end of the war. It's not unheard of now to start having movies that feel nostalgic for the war, which is a real interesting development, because you could not have in 1947 made a movie that was nostalgic for World War II. Too many people didn't come home. Too many people came home crippled and scarred, and it was just too traumatic. And I guess 9 years is enough, I suppose. But it was just such interesting to look at it in that light. I remember watching this a few years ago, and I said to Margaret, I said, you can tell that Rosemary Clooney was cast for her voice, and you can tell that Vera Ellen was cast for her dancing, because it's so obvious that the one is a singer and the one is a dancer, and they're really filling completely different roles in the movie. And I also think it's fun because the scene where Bing Crosby's cracking up when they're doing Sisters was not intended for him to be cracking up. That was Danny Kaye cracking him up and hitting him with the fan and making him break. And they apparently had 2 takes, and the other one was a better take in terms of sort of keeping with the movie, but this one was more fun, and they went with this one.
That's good.
I'm glad they did. Yeah.
And so the girls already had an album?
Apparently, they at least had a record out, because those guys are an incredibly quick study.
Well, no, he found the records.
They had seen
it sounded exactly.
Yeah. So great songs. Irving Berlin was a great songwriter. I mean, there's no question about that. He was one of the most successful songwriters in the early part of the century. I agree. Some of them were unnecessary. I remember we went to a theater showing of this maybe about 8 or 9 years ago. And there was an expert in movies who was up at the front talking about it. And she loved this movie, and she absolutely loathes the choreography number. She thinks the movie should just cut that out, throw it away, never to be seen again, because she cannot stand that song, even though she loves the movie. And I saw some other criticisms online where there's a school of thought that feels that the movie is held back by that number, which I don't agree with, but it is an unnecessary number. I will agree with that. So like I said, I'll happily watch it every year, but it's not on my must-watch list, so it's an 85 for me.
All right. My mother gives it a 75. Rebecca says, when I watch a movie like this, I don't expect absolute realism. I like the dance numbers and funny moments. I'm probably not going to watch it again, though. I'll give it a... Hold on a second.
Whoa.
There you go. My wife just snuck in behind me. I'm sitting in front of the door to the hotel room. She gives it a 77.
Very nice. Very nice.
So I guess we go to me.
I think it's you.
I thought I'd seen this before. I never.
Oh no!
Oh no! We will never get to hear the answer.
There you go. You froze up for a second.
You're a little frozen. He's like in Vermont. Like the snow must have hit.
As soon as you made him big, he froze.
I know. I made him big. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just get to the point. It's too long. It could be a 90-minute movie. I do think it's a great movie. I give it an 89.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. And he's apparently that was all he had to give.
I'm trying.
All right. I did not like this movie as much as I'd hoped I was going to, because I enjoy a musical. I enjoy Bing. Some of the comedy was good. I know it wasn't a Christmas show. I think it would have helped if the dance numbers felt like they were somehow modifying their normal show to be a Christmas show. If you're going to put on a Christmas Eve show, it should feel Christmassy. And I mean, ultimately, you didn't see any of those actual number rehearsals. I feel like they were doing a lot of stuff because people liked big dance numbers.
Right.
And they were like, oh, well, we're going to include a bunch of big dance numbers in this because people love that stuff. even though it's irrelevant to the story or the plot or anything. They might as well have thrown a car chase because people like those too. It just didn't matter. And it's like, yeah, okay, here we go again with another dance number. And it's good, but I wish it somehow felt integral to the story.
Well, I want to interrupt you for a second. I was reading about this because when Donald O'Connor was cast and had to pull out, and then they cast Danny Kaye at the last minute, a lot of the dance numbers that Vera Ellen did with that other dance partner, she was supposed to do with that character. But Danny Kaye was not a strong enough dancer to pull that off, whereas Donald O'Connor was.
Right.
So they had to rework that and take that other dancer and pull him into that role.
And it really had nothing to do with the story. So I mean, I didn't hate it. I don't think my score is identical to Rebecca's. I ended up at a 77. I agree. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again or not. Maybe it'll creep back into my life and I'll end up enjoying it more on a second viewing. But I think it would have to be an accidental, like, I don't know, like I'm in Cody's condition and somebody forced me to watch it. I'm not sure I'd go out of my way to include this in my regular repertoire for Christmas movies. And here we go. Scores from Adam coming in. Here it goes. Wow.
Higher than I guessed.
Higher than you guessed. How about that? So Adam coming in with an 11. Wow.
Eric and Dave win that one with a 10, was their guess.
There we go. Pretty close. So there we go. So I'm going to hold off. I will just say that both of these movies are scoring very similarly with our current rankings, but I know there's a couple of you who did not get a chance to watch The Bishop's Wife. And so, if somebody wants to sneak in a score, once again, midnight Sunday, Monday morning,
Amazon Prime if you have Amazon Prime.
And that's when we'll lock those in early.
Was that our fifth time? That's one appearance. You gotta rack it up.
I think that's number one.
No,
that's two. I think that's two. Yeah.
Me too.
On the movie? That wasn't the movie show. That was my birthday show.
Oh, could be.
That's right. We'll count every time she walks by. We'll count as it's like an Easter egg. You have to watch for it.
That was fun.
All right. Are we ready?
Took her book and left.
I was going to say one other thing, just
to
comment on the whole too long thing. And I'm not going to disagree, but just to say that I think it's wrong to say they're too long. What my opinion is, just if you like the movie, if you like the characters, the length doesn't bother you.
Right.
Because Adam gave a high score to Saving Private Ryan, which is almost 3 hours.
Right.
But if the story works for you, you'll watch a movie twice as long. But if it doesn't, if it's a type of movie that bores you or an actors you don't care for, it feels like forever.
Right.
Well, I like this movie. I just felt like they took too long to get to certain points.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
You know where it's going.
Why? Because the audience knew we're coming.
Yeah,
there wasn't a lot of unpredictability in this movie. I certainly can't say
That's
that.
true.
I do think that I read one time that they included I think that Sisters song, and that wasn't originally planned for. They were just like screwing around or something, and they decided to put it in the movie.
I mean, the guy's doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So,
What's funny is
that's what I read as well. Yeah.
Reagan saw this for the first time the other day, and I said, "Here's your song," because when she was in high school, her chorus teacher found out she had siblings like her senior year. And she went to her chorus teacher went to hug Emma. Maybe it wasn't her senior year, and went to hug Emma. She's, "You're not Maya." And she says, "Who are you?" And she said, I said, "This is Reagan's sister." And she went, "You have a sister?" So then they were in chorus together, and she started singing that to them. And Reagan didn't know where it really came from.
Didn't get the reference. Yeah.
Yeah. So she does now.
Well, there you go.
My mom just made a quick point. She said she thought it also was a little too long. Reminded me of a high school musical where they make everybody show their best talent. Like they just, oh, you can sing. Oh, you're in it. Oh, yeah.
The juggling scene is now coming up. How do we write that into the script?
Yes. Your mother knows musicals.
And I'm guessing that your daughter's music teacher was not Mrs. Taylor.
No, she left right before that, like a couple years before. It's Mara Saint.
The Mara Saint.
Duh.
All right, let's go.
Ho, ho, ho! Feliz Navidad.
I'm pulling for Adam here. He deserves to get to watch a movie he enjoys.
Come on, Adam.
All right, hold on. I'm trying to share here. There it goes. Sorry. Everything's running slow, and I don't know why, but that's okay. All right, here we go.
I
don't
know why.
I don't know why either. All right, we got 7 spaces
What does
on
the yellow
wheel.
light
Is
mean?
Reagan there?
Slow down, Jim.
Is Reagan
What does
there
the
in the house?
yellow light mean?
Reagan's
No,
on
she's
her way
at work.
home from work.
Oh, well then I
We're too
guess
early tonight.
see what happens. So she's not really a contender.
No, not
All
tonight.
right, so there we
Could
go.
have
One
been a
in
contender.
6. 1 in
Right.
6 chance.
You got a one. Well,
Adam.
split it twice. You got a 1 in 3 chance, Adam.
All right.
Oh,
I'm giving it a shuffle, and we're gonna spin it now. So picking our first of our last holiday
Come
movies
on, Adam.
will be.
oh.
Looks like Amanda. Look at
It's got all the
that.
same right letters, but a couple extra.
It's the right letter.
You can't spell Adam without Amanda.
Yeah.
Oh,
Vice
that's
versa.
interesting. All right.
Without Anne.
I'm going to give it another shuffle, and we're going to give it another spin. And let's see who gets to choose the last holiday movie of
Adam,
2022.
Adam.
Damn.
Adam. It did not.
You know what, Adam? I'm giving it to you.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
yay.
Adam
Right.
drove an hour and a half to come see a half-hour comedy pilot last Wednesday. He deserves to get this. So Adam, you can
Yes,
have
he
it.
does. Yes.
And I believe this is the second time Dan has sacrificed his wheel choice for Adam.
Adam's loyal. Loyalty should be rewarded.
And by the way, Eric and I have come up with 2 titles for Hanukkah movies we both want to write. He had the Chat GPT function write the entire movie for us.
Oh,
Eric's is called Winter Fusion.
Winter Fusion.
Was that it?
Yeah, that's it. I didn't come up with it. That was the AI bot.
Oh, the AI came up with the title. Yeah,
Yeah,
Winter
I
Fusion.
just gave it the premise. I just gave it the premise.
And then I came up with one based on when I was younger, we had a family Thanksgiving every year. And then we would do a gift exchange. We would do a drawing. You pick a name. And then we'd all meet on Christmas Day. We'd celebrate our family Hanukkah on Christmas Day because everybody's off work anyway. So that's the premise is it'll start on Thanksgiving. It'll end on Christmas Day. But the movie's called A Very Christmas Hanukkah.
oh, I like
I
that.
thought you were going to go with Purim. I hardly know him.
Wow.
Oh. All right.
Suck it.
So we're waiting to hear from Amanda.
Suck it to me.
For their holiday choices. Full Court Miracle 2 is not available for streaming, so don't even think about that one.
Wait, what was this AI that wrote the title?
Oh,
There's a
Brian, you
script
missed-
writing AI out there now.
Oh, yeah.
They are. They're I need to see this.
it writes anything you want.
Yeah, it's spectacular.
It'll
Some
write
of them are
code.
terrible.
It'll make a recipe for you. It'll write a
Oh.
trivia question.
Yeah, I want to see this.
Write a resume?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And actually, it does a pretty decent job.
Wow.
Here, let me, while we're waiting here, we can do
Well, write a paper.
Write a review of the White Christmas. Yeah.
All right, here we go. All right, I got the chat bot up here. Do we want a positive or negative review of White Christmas?
Do negative.
A negative review of the movie White Christmas. White Christmas. That complains about it being
Like Three's Company.
slow, and having too many musical numbers. All right, are you ready? Here we go. Here comes our review.
I was really disappointed by White Christmas. While I'm a fan of classic Hollywood
Multiple
musicals,
times.
now what some people do is they put these then into those AI bots where you get the avatar that looks like a human and it will talk and read these.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's true.
wow. That's
and then
really
and then you can say, make it sound more professional and longer.
and it just does it.
And then it just doesn't.
Yeah. You can do stuff on this bot where you can say like, write me a meal plan for a family of 3 that are vegan.
Oh
And
yeah.
it'll come out and give the entire meal. Then afterwards you give me the shopping list for this meal.
Yeah.
This meal plan. And it'll give you an entire shopping list of what you need to go to the store and buy.
It's
That's
crazy.
so cool.
It is crazy. Speaking of crazy, Rise of the Guardians. There we go.
Good choice. Good choice.
I haven't watched this for quite some time.
I don't think I've ever watched this.
No, you would.
I have.
This.
Obviously.
Oh, from 2012, streaming with ads on Freevee, also available to rent in all sorts of crazy places.
Okay.
So
your
White
typical
Christmas is not
Rise
available in
of the Guardian.
Canada on Netflix.
Your typical
by the way.
$4 rentals.
Oh,
Yes, $4 rentals everywhere.
Okay.
Free on Freevee if you don't mind the ads.
That's funny.
If you hate the ads, you're gonna have to pony up $4 or check your local library, of course.
That's what I'm doing right now.
I think you should absolutely. Microsoft is selling it for $15 if you're buying movies.
I don't know if you heard what I said. I froze, I think.
Microsoft.
Netflix here in Canada is different. And it did not have White Christmas on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I had to rent it on Amazon. And there's no Hulu here.
you could have proxied.
I didn't have I don't have the right laptop with me.
Yeah.
So is Adam still thinking, huh?
Adam is still thinking.
He might be in the middle of like seeing a client since he is.
Oh, there, he put it in the chat.
Oh, we have it at work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I've never heard of that either. Wow, I've never heard of Adam's movie.
Wait, it's in
I didn't
8
see it put it in there.
libraries have this movie.
Oh my. It's a
8-bit
YouTube?
Christmas.
It's
No.
a YouTube, or is that just the link?
Switch and save
To the-
600
hold
with
on.
2021 with Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, good. We have HBO
Oh.
Max for a little while. Good.
This is the actual movie on YouTube.
Oh, it's actually right on YouTube.
I think so. It's
How did we
there's
miss
a 1 hour YouTube video? Christmas with squirrels and relaxing Christmas music. Is that what I just linked to?
No.
No, this is not his movie.
No.
No.
No,
It's
because this
available.
is literally
It can
a
be rented on
video.
Amazon.
It's an hour-long video of Christmas squirrels. That's all.
We
this
have this
is.
movie in the library too, and it's got a hold on it already.
Wow.
Now, if Adam said this was too long, I could get it.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh, Christmas squirrel. Oh,
Yeah,
Christmas
this is
squirrel.
a good choice. It's a good choice, Adam. Oh, wait, did the squirrels get to eat? I
Are they going to come in and drive the birds away?
don't know. You have to find out. Tune
Oh,
in next
yeah.
week. Find out the clip.
Did I mention about the thing about the movie while you were sleeping, and that's our highest rated video on YouTube?
You did
Yeah.
talk about this, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not for EriDan though. It's only on my page. But it's got like 22,000 views.
Crazy.
And I think because, like I said, it's
Oh, that
people
was
that
from
are looking
Richard.
for videos to
These
have
squirrels
on
were
while
from
they were
Richard.
sleeping.
I didn't realize Richard was out there. Richard sent the squirrels. Now, did Adam send a link? Am I not seeing it?
No.
somewhere?
Adam didn't send a link.
No, I have it up. I have the IMDb up.
I'm so confused. You have IMDb up for what?
For the
the
Madden
movie.
movie.
What is his movie?
8-Bit Christmas.
Oh, I don't see that anywhere.
It's in the comments
Oh.
on.
I had
Wait.
it on the screen for a little bit. Yeah.
I was doing other things apparently. 8-bit. I have not seen this.
It's Neil
I've heard
Patrick
about
Harris. I've never seen it either.
We have one copy in the library system. It has 2 holds on it. And it's checked out at the time. I'm not going to be able to get it.
2021?
Neil Patrick Harris and Steve Zahn.
But it's just so
Oh.
funny. I'm checking it.
Love Steve Zahn.
There
What's
we
Steve
go.
Zahn?
Oh, Kent might have to watch out with this.
He's
There
on
we
HBO
go.
Max.
On,
Oh,
HBO Max. HBO Max and run everywhere else. So if you're an HBO Max person, you've already got it. Well, there we
There you
go.
go.
All right.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's time now. All right, so this is not what I have been watching, but I'm going to throw this out there. I know this doesn't interest any of you, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. 10 years ago, Felicia Day had a series called The Guild. That was an online streaming show for like 5 seasons that they produced. Tomorrow there is a 12-hour a 12-hour live marathon. They're airing all the episodes on Twitch, back to back. The whole cast is going to be on. So if you're a fan of The Guild, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. You can watch them all, get all sorts of fun.
It's the exact opposite of how I'd want to watch it because I like Felicia Day in small doses. When I see her for too long, she grates on my nerves. So watching a marathon of her would be the worst possible way for me to watch this.
Yeah, I'm interested, but I don't think I would ever make it through 12 hours. I wish I could. This is a 15 marathon, 15th anniversary marathon. That happens tomorrow on the Twitch. So I don't know if I'm gonna try to at least tune in. I'll be at work, but if you're interested,
we got our latest copy of the Geneva magazine today.
Oh, very nice.
Any pictures in there?
Huh?
You have any pictures in there?
I have most of the pictures in there.
I'll have to look through it. We just got
about 70%. I will say 60 to 70% are pictures. I mean, obviously, when people have sent in pictures of their kids or their wedding pictures, those
You're
are
not creeping around people's houses and taking pictures of their kids.
No, and if anything that looks like it was off campus, no, I did not take those photos. But most stuff on campus, either I was involved with, it was one of my interns, or it was myself. So, and quite a list of photo people in the front of the magazine under the credits. Me and like 7 or 8 others.
I haven't looked at that yet.
It takes a cast of thousands to cover everything.
Mostly your interns?
Yes. Some are my interns. Not all, but some. But yeah.
Let's see. What have I been watching?
What have you been watching?
I've been reading more than watching lately. So
we watched Murderville last night, the Christmas one.
We have that in our queue. I haven't watched it yet, though. We watched the series, but
we've never watched it before. Wow.
We watched the entire series, and then we've watched some episodes of the original British series it was based on.
Oh, okay.
Which is, I think, called Murder in Celebrityville or something like that. It's a little bit different, but it's very similar.
Adam saw Aviator 2.
Aviator 2?
Avatar
2. Same thing.
or the Aviator 2.
I feel the same way about Jurassic Park, Adam. Incredible special effects and a totally boring storyline.
The first one was boring.
Oh, is that what he said about it?
About Avatar? He said, well, you can put it up. Put up his comment.
There you go.
Yeah. I suspected that's what was going to happen.
Did we watch it after we went there? Mm-hmm. We watched Avatar after we went to Disney to see the Pandora. Mm-hmm. And then we watched the movie when we got home and we're like, what?
I feel that way a lot. I mean, I love some of James Cameron's movies, but some of them that are hugely popular, I go, okay, I don't get it. Yeah. I guess I'm not the right audience.
Maybe.
I don't know. Is Avatar even popular though? Like,
it's huge. It's
one of the highest grossing movies of all time.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why though? Like, do people actually like it and rate it high?
They just went to see it because they hated it.
Yeah. No, I think they went to see it because it was hyped. and then they were
Yeah.
very disappointed.
No, because there are
Yeah,
people that have seen it like 20 times. It is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's an audience for it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of
Okay.
this like
I mean, also
fantasy
Disney would
of
not be
the-
building a ride for it or an area for it if it weren't hugely popular.
It's a very good
It's
point.
done almost $3 billion in box office. Billion with a B.
$1 billion.
I don't know. I don't understand why. I just don't.
You know what I'm saying? Like the fantasy of how the whole planet was like together, you know, fighting the guy, you know.
It was like a Western movie almost,
Yeah.
but just made sci-fi.
Yeah.
It wasn't
I
the
mean-
most creative storyline, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, a comedy pilot. What? Tell us about that, Adam.
Yeah, Adam, tell us about it.
What's your score, Adam?
I asked him that. I asked him. I said, by the way, it's only about 80% done, and he never gave me a score.
He's diplomatic.
Higher or
Yeah.
lower than White Christmas?
Well,
Oh,
it probably
man.
Is he doing
it
it?
gets at least 1 point for being in color. So
I was in color, unlike my comedy special.
I'm like the comedy special. It's lost a point for being in black and white. Terrible. Terrible.
It was fun having this screening, and we had about 125 people or so. And yes, Rafi. Oh,
wow.
you got a 90.
Good.
Right.
So it's no Saving Private Ryan, but
Rafi stole the show. He didn't steal the show. I mean, he's got a character he's the Kramer of the show.
That's fun.
well, it's sort of like Jaleel White on Family Matters, where you get a moderate character who just for some reason stands out.
Oh no, I knew he would though. I mean, this is such an over the top crazy. I mean, he's the only crazy character in the whole show.
That's awesome.
Rick
He's your
Springfield's
Kramer,
pretty
huh?
funny.
Yeah.
Dan, I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you: does Rafi have acting experience, or is it just something you asked him to do?
Well, I asked him to do the table read when we did when we were doing them online,
Yeah.
and he did the Tony character. I told him the story about the real Tony, and he did the character, and I couldn't stop laughing. I go, "Holy crap, you've like nailed it!"
That's
And then we
awesome.
did the table read before we started filming, and even at that point, it was like, "Yeah, I'll have Rafi do it," but if he sucks, we might have to actually cast it. And we had maybe 20 people come to the table read, and they all laughed hysterically then.
Good.
And he and Chris, the guy that plays the Eric character, and myself were the only three that did the table read that were actually in it.
Cool.
He did already have a Wikipedia page, it looks like, though, because he's written some stuff. Or not Wikipedia.
Rafi has a
excuse me,
Wikipedia
IMDb.
page?
IMDb. He has an IMDb page.
Well, okay, I gave
He's a
him one.
collaborative writer on a couple of videos.
Might be a different Rafi because I don't.
No, because I linked it from It's a Lot. How
Oh,
one designer saved Tesla from bankruptcy twice. He's a collaborative
yeah,
writer on that.
oh, that's right. He's also played the Oracle on my special.
Yeah.
How special.
Interesting. So, are you able to bring it to Pittsburgh or no?
Yeah, I'm just not sure when,
Okay.
but we will.
Wade had asked me if I wanted to fly out. Of course, I had to work this last week, so I couldn't do it. But we were going to fly out. He wanted to fly out and come see it. But
Well, no, this was just a screening. This was like a test screening. There's a lot of editing we're still doing, and
yeah.
the sound is kind of off.
And I
There's a few
said,
color corrections.
and you're
how
gonna-
much are tickets to fly? And it was no, we can't.
What you're gonna have is you're gonna
I would
finish
love
it.
to.
You're gonna finish it, and Adam's gonna go, "Man, the original was so much better." 20.
Oh, that's a 20 now. Can't believe you added so many musical numbers.
We
Why did you make it black and white?
It's
we'll make
so
a musical
long.
version of it.
It's,
It's
a
30
90-minute sitcom. What are you thinking?
It's 30 minutes, almost to the nose. And yeah, we're tightening the Tiffany part. I think was a little long. It doesn't get to the joke fast enough. That was the thing I was gonna. I started to type when you guys were talking about extending, like movies being too long. When you write a joke, you want to use as few words as possible. If you can get the same laugh with fewer words, that's better. And that's kind of how we have it in this. Is we're realizing there's a couple of jokes that don't hit,
Mm-hmm.
or they do hit, but it's like, well, we didn't need the line before it. It doesn't add to it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Interesting.
we're going to tighten it a little bit.
Nice.
Very cool.
But Rick Springfield playing the opening to Aaliyah is pretty cool. That's the only teaser I'll give away.
Wow.
He literally, I don't know if I told this or not, but he's like, so what song am I playing? I said, oh, Aaliyah by Donny Iris. And he's like, yeah, I don't know that one. I go, okay. I said, he opened for you a couple years ago.
It's a 4-note riff. You can get it.
Yeah. And so I said, here, hold on. I grabbed my phone. I pulled it up on YouTube, and he went, all right, I got it. And he had, it was like downloading it from the Matrix. And he's played the opening, and we have no bass. We have just a drummer who didn't know the song either, but it turned out okay. I mean, they don't really play the whole song. It's that's what they're rehearsing at the very end. It's a long story. You'll see.
Little royalty money for Donnie if it ever airs.
Yeah.
Did you have to get permission from him? Of course.
We don't have to yet.
Okay.
Mainly because it's we're still just previewing it and doing it for free, and it's even as a pilot. If it ever went to air, we'd have to get rights, which I'm sure we could get.
Okay.
I don't think he would say no.
It's not like it's a Coronet commercial.
Extra value is what you get.
Okay, now I gotta look for
Use Coronet. Well, it's like Margaret Hamilton doing the Folgers commercials, right? Or
Yeah.
was that Folgers or was it Maxwell House?
Maxwell House.
Yeah.
Go to the last drop.
Yeah.
Folgers is we've replaced Brian's coffee with Folgers crystals.
We replaced Brian's coffee.
And we replaced
Will he notice?
and we made the actor do this commercial look just like Ronald Reagan, but he's not Ronald Reagan. Get that phone.
So unprofessional.
Get your
It's
landline.
probably my mother.
But does she have a vote?
No. Well, she'd probably put 100. Press the off button.
We're getting echo.
Echo.
Is it coming from there? No.
No.
Coming from here? No.
Oh, yeah.
Coming from here?
Yes.
It was Eric.
Am I? Well,
You were causing echo. Somehow.
Yeah, we're getting.
Now batting. Brother Dodger. Manny Moda.
Enrique Polo.
Hello.
I don't hear that at all.
Wow.
Trippy.
Tricky. All right.
All right. Hit that point.
So 2 movies for next week.
The Rise of the Guardians and 8-Bit Christmas.
All right. So I had the chat. I asked the AI bot to write us an ending. Dan, you can read our closing for tonight.
Well, that's all for this special episode. I gotta mute you, Eric. Hold on a second. Okay, I keep hearing myself. Well, that's all for this episode of the EriDan Film Festival. We hope you enjoyed our reviews of the latest releases and our discussion of all things cinema. And a quick reminder for all you Clutch Radio fans out there, Dan's show won't be recording this Saturday due to Christmas Eve. Actually, I think we are doing one. So make sure to catch up on all the previous episodes before then. But don't worry, we'll be back next week with more movie talk and reviews on the EriDan Film Festival. Until then, that's just as Casey Kasem. Until then, keep watching, keep loving film. This is Eric and Dan signing off and wishing everyone a Merry Christmas. I'm Casey Kasem.
Number time with a bullet.
All right.
I just think it's funny that it automatically assumed it was Era. And Dan.
I'm Era, and I'm Dan.
That's why you didn't do a show with Rick, because if Dan and Rick had done a show together, it would have had a worse name.
Derek?
No.
Oh, Dick.
Wow.
Or if Eric and Rick did a show together, it'd be called Eric.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Out of K.
That's funny.
All right, everybody.
Erick.
Great week. Have a wonderful Christmas.
Bye, everybody. Merry Christmas. And Happy Hanukkah.
Yes, all of them.
case I don't see you. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.